All right, welcome to the early access impressions video for the week. Um, as it always interrupts the flow of these things, no matter how many times it appears. Anyway, with that in mind, up here is Critter Cove, a deep open world life sim and town building game set in a cozy post apocalyptic paradise. Okay, those are not words that belong next to each other. Um, Restore an old town, sail across a mysterious archipelago, hunt for relics, and farm, fish, and craft any and everything you need. Can you help turn Critter Cove into a thriving tourist town once again? All right then. So yeah, uh, this game is a kind of a general purpose sim town building kind of game. Like, it's not aimed towards one specific bent. That is to say, you're not preoccupied with, say, farming, like, or building a city, or, like any one thing. It's a lot of more general use. Now, how you feel about that, probably a eminently subjective thing. Um, with that in mind, uh, getting to the name Critter Cove, that's because you can make your avatar any number of animal people. Um, like if you want to be an anthropomorphic cat, or if you want to be a human just with the cat ears and the tail, you can do both. Um, on, and you can do more than just animals. Like you can see Petty Fan here is building what appears to be a reject from Fallout New Vegas.
You know what?
Am I wrong?
I didn't say you were.
Like, like my avatar had a clockwork key in the back of his back. Um, and I think you can do the pronouns here.
Yep, you can.
Yep. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure I was remembering that right. The point is, you've got a lot of creativity options in terms of the avatar. I'm like, it is worth noting it's all cosmetic.
Mm-hmm.
There's not any sort of like stamina boost if you have a long mustache or anything like that.
Or like if you're one of the reptilian ones, you don't like swim better or whatever.
Right. This game is not that preoccupied with stats and meters. It's not free of them, but it is a lot more casual than a lot of these kind of survival crafting things. To wit, you don't have to worry about things like hunger, thirst. Money is a lot less of a concern than, say, in a dedicated farming sim.
Mm-hmm. It's probably closer to something like Animal Crossing than, say, Harvest Moon.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, though not full tilt into Animal Crossing
Right.
either. Like, you will see, like, um,
Like, I have an HP bar for one.
right. Um, you've got an HP bar, but as far as I can tell, there's no enemies. There's no wildlife that is going to try and feast upon your bones.
That's an interesting way to do jumping. You are very stretchy.
Yeah, I can't say I like the
I'd
jumping
rather
here.
have slightly too much squash and stretch than nowhere near enough.
I guess fair, but there are also the time and place for squash and stretch.
Well, see, this is why we label early access games as impressions,
Mm-hmm.
because this could very much be adjusted and changed
Oh yeah.
by the time that 1.0. Okay, like you see this wooden log here. This is that's a resource pile.
Yeah.
You will need to create an axe, um, and that's like one of the beginning quests. One of the tutorial quests. To get you the basic tool set, which is wrench, shovel, and axe. Yeah. First, you're going to be establishing your home, and later on, you'll be establishing the workshop. That's where you create the machines that will allow you the deeper levels of crafting. That's about where I left off, because those quests are kind of done weird. Um, I'm only on like the second one, but they frame it as you've got to get the lost blueprints from a waterlogged location. It's really weird. Also, I can't say I like moving through the water too much. It's fine, but honestly, the problem I'm having is your oxygen meter, which in this case is your stamina bar, followed by your health bar. If you run out of stamina, that's when your health depletes. Um,
They
it
might have
goes way too
recently updated then, because it looks like there is now a separate oxygen meter.
well. There is an oxygen meter, um, but here's the thing that goes by way too fast. Then it
Mm-hmm.
starts straining your stamina. Yeah, they may have adjusted in the past couple of days. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
was going by much faster. See, this is the once again, um, this is it's not a live service game, but it's getting updates like one.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I said, um, right. Sorry, I hate that. Um, oh, right. Anyway, even though this game is an early access title, it's surprisingly well polished for how early in the access it is. That is to say, it hit early access just last month at time of recording. It's about a month old, um, like about a month and a few weeks, give or take. Um, though apparently, reading up on the early access notes, it's been this game has been in development behind the scenes for a number of years. It is worth noting we do have a interview planned in the near future. Hopefully, you know it will go smoothly. But um, you know, I have been told that the dev team is quite small for a game of this stature and size. Um, um, yeah, with that in mind, uh, it's very impressively polished. Definitely more polished than the last uh, one of these kinds of games that we covered. I forget the name. It was like something like Bubble Chicken Farm or something like that. Um,
Something
you know
like
that.
that.
That game which was much rougher from what I remember. How that game's doing now, I couldn't tell you. You um, like this game probably could reasonably pass as a 1.0 game in the here and now. I will say reasonably past it. it's not there yet. I did encounter things that really did give away the early access nature of the game. Like, I think I was walking around the workshop when I was starting to pass through walls, or at least partially pass through walls. Like, not all the collision detection's there yet. And like activating stuff, it's a
Yeah,
bit more.
there's not a cooldown on like door opening and closing, so if you accidentally double tap the button, it'll
Yeah,
immediately open and close the door.
yeah. Like I said, these are the smaller, subtler things that still need to be ironed out.
Yeah.
You know, but that's also the nice thing about it being an impressions video. I don't have to count that necessarily for or against. Um, and to coincide with that, the early access period, um, undefined,
Mm.
um, as in the 1.0 version of this game will be launching sometime in 2025, but no specific date in mind yet. So, that's the full breadth of the year there. This could be spending, this could be coming out 1.0 in December of 2025.
Hmm.
Um,
It could be coming out 1.0 January 1st. We don't know.
right. I'm gonna say that they don't have a date in mind. It's not going to be a few months from now.
Yeah.
You know that I think I can make an educated
And then
guess.
again, with as polished as it is, they could be nearing ready to put it into 1.0. Because we've
No,
seen
because
regular, like, fully released games that have less polish than this does in early access. Like, it's not perfect yet, but they could
see,
be relatively close.
right. This is why it's important to read the early access notes,
Hmm.
so I can get some of the developer intentions without having to interview them.
Hmm.
And here's the thing: this game is not content complete. Um,
Right.
they are planning to increase the breadth and the depth of the gameplay during early access. As far as the actual space, I don't know if they're going to be adding more islands to the mix. Um, oh, here we go. We'll be focusing our development on added player activities, a larger and more varied world space, and the conclusion of all story elements. These are, aka, other reasons why we don't review early access games.
Hmm.
This is literally an incomplete game right now.
Yeah, and there's also, like, the part of the other reason why I don't fully review early access games is because there's no 100% guarantee it could fully come out.
Indeed.
There have been more
Also,
than a few times when there have been devs that have abandoned their projects. Not saying this dev will, but it's also
yeah.
not unheard of.
But more to the point, it sounds like this game is going to undergo a significant amount of change over the course of its early access life. Um, Now, as an evaluation in the here and now, once again, a surprisingly good game with quite a bit of stuff to do.
Hmm.
Um, like, it's not lacking for quests. Um, it may be lacking in terms of activities necessarily, but that's mainly because honestly, all this game has got going really is crafting and more crafting. Like things like, say, fishing hasn't been included yet.
Hmm.
That could be a potential activity they could be putting in the game later on. Like,
And it looks like there's kind of underwater exploration, like you can get more air tanks and stuff like that.
yeah, I figured that's probably some, that's something that was going to be down the crafting line. Um, it's probably too far down the crafting line, given how much underwater exploration is a part of getting your crafting equipment.
Hmm.
Like, my suggestion, you might want to move up the diving helmet, the diving belt, something to help with the oxygen meter. Be closer to the beginning here,
Hmm.
given you know how much the outside water areas play to exploration.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, and I think that's a good overview of what's going on right now in Critter Cove. Um, I guess the last thing I'll mention is there are a handful of denizens on the island that you can do quests for and have friendship meters that will, you know, guide your relationship. I'm not sure if that leads to anything romantic at this stage. Um,
Mm.
that is another thing that could be potentially implemented if it isn't. You know, something to ask the devs in October, I think. Um, anyway, in terms of pricing, so this game clocks in at $24.99. Like, and in the early access notes, they are planning to increase the price when it leaves early access. Um, not sure how much.
Hmm.
Like $25, maybe a bit more expensive than I would like at this
Mm. I
stage.
guess it really depends on A, how much complete we are right now and how much they're looking to add.
Well, it sounds like they're looking to add quite a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, honestly, like I would place this game at $20. You know, given the amount of content and polish, I think the biggest limiting factor right now is just you know it's all crafting all the time, with a little bit of city builder um, and other things spliced in there.
Hmm.
Like, this game wants to tout itself as a open world life sim and town building game. I mean, that's true in the technicals, but it's really a crafting game. You
Yeah.
know, so much of your time is dedicated to gathering materials, crafting stuff, and just building upon that. So I think it's more honest to call this game a crafting, um, not a survival crafting game, because you don't really survive unless you're dealing with the water. And that's probably another notification here. Like, if you're looking for another survival crafting game, because I don't know, apparently there's not enough of those in the world. This isn't your bag. It's also not a farming sim. You know, do not get this game confused for Story of Seasons or anything like that, because that's its own branch or sub branch. But overall, I was surprised with Critter Code. Like, I was not expecting it to be as good or as polished as it is um, right now. I think it might be a bit too pricey for its own britches. Like, though it does have a helpful demo you can go and download to try before you potentially buy. Anyway, Petty, you've been playing the game while we've been conversing here. Anything you wish to add?
It's interesting.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say it's like, between this and Animal Crossing, right now I'd play Animal Crossing just because it's, fully feature complete. But, like, I could see where this could become more, have more to do than just, like, the basic game loop in, say, Animal Crossing and whatnot. Could this be
I think
better
it
than
has.
Animal Crossing? It really depends on what type of game you're interested in.
I think it might be dangerous to compare it to Animal Crossing because this game isn't really doing what Animal Crossing
Fair.
does.
Yeah, it's like one of those weird hybrids between it and Harvest Moon, maybe.
Yeah. Um, so
I mean, it's
anyway,
honestly an all right game.
yeah, I was about to say at the very least it's worth a look.
Yeah,
I'd say
it's
go download the
free
demo at the
demo.
very least.
If you like it, hey, throw the devs. It's like what $25 at time of recording, and you can be there when all the game is available.
Yeah, that I think is another good determining factor
Yeah,
because it might be better to get on the ground floor because we don't know at this moment in time
yeah.
how much the price is going to increase.
It could
Um,
be it could be $5 more. It could be 15 to $20 more. We have no idea what the devs' plan are at this point in time.
right. We do aim to get insight into that,
Hmm.
but that comes in a few weeks from now.
Potentially
Um,
asterisk.
yeah, yeah. What I mean that's all our shows.
Indeed.
Speaking of which, that's as good a segue as any to the ending spiel. Indeed. That'll about do it for our impressions here and our review session. So, coming up on the week ahead, on Wednesday, September 25th, we'll be welcoming Mariel Cartwright of Way Forward. Indeed, this will be Way Forward's third go around on our program this year.
At
Um,
which way forward is way back?
Boo.
I want to find a way to slap him.
I want to help.
Anyway, this time around, we're going to be talking about Clock Tower Rewind, as Mariel is acting as the producer on Clock Tower. You know, um, if you're not familiar with the game, that's the um, one of the seminal building blocks in survival horror. It's probably the most prominent survival horror game that wasn't from Capcom or Alone in the Dark.
Hmm.
And to clarify things, this Clock Tower is the Super Nintendo game, not
Yeah.
the PlayStation game.
The actual original one.
Yes. Um, the PlayStation game is Clock Tower 2. We have the same kind of fucky gaming scheme that that they applied to Final Fantasy and a few other game series back in the day. Like, but no. Um, this is the original Super Nintendo game, and they're revamping it for the modern age. Not just porting the ROM to work on um, modern day systems. They're adding new cutscenes at like 4K resolution, among other things. We'll have more on that on Wednesday. Anyway, we do have a Friday show this week. On Friday, September 27th. well, oops, sorry, got a bit phlegmy there. On Friday, September 27th, we'll be will be welcoming Corzidin. Corzidin. I think that's how that's pronounced. Of Fission Ogre. They are the developers behind the boomer shooter Relentless Frontier. This is a fast-paced sci-fi FPS running in the GZ Doom engine. So look forward to that. We also have a new episode of MSP planned this week. And all systems as normal as that show gets there. So until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.